Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from. Let me know if you are here live with me. And if you are catching this on the replay, I would love to continue the conversation with you as well. So go ahead and leave your comments, and I will always come and circle back with you and make sure that you get the support you need as well. I have just a few things here to set up, and then we will go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about how when you work as a solopreneur, that is one person in your business, you are the owner, the marketer, the salesman, the copywriter, you're wearing all the hats in your business. And you're having to cycle through working in your business and on your business at all the times. And you have so much to do, not just in your business, but also in your personal life. So you're getting a little bit overwhelmed with your to-do list, right? Who's been there? Even if you're not there right now, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Raise your hand. I've been there for sure. So when you're in this space, you end up not prioritizing outsourcing the work until it's too late. And by the time that you start thinking about considering the outsource, you're so overwhelmed with your to-do list that it seems like it would be faster and easier if you just did the work yourself and got it done and over with, instead of taking the time to let some things slip. Ideally, you'll be doing it beforehand so that you're not slipping on anything. But even if you waited too long, some things can slip so that you have someone who is specifically going to work on the one thing or the few select tasks, that overall it will be much easier and you will finally have your own personal to-do list much shorter, much simpler, and the things that you actually want to do, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard from many of you and my clients about wanting to free up their schedule. They need control over their schedule again. Tell me if you can relate to that, as I know where you're coming from. Let's see. Oh, if you have not met me before, hello, my name is Stephanie Gary. I am a blog content writer and editor for women coaches, helping them save time with the planning, creating, and updating of their blog posts so that their content can live longer in search results to attract more clients. This is a lead generation strategy that combines the search engine optimization, content marketing, and my favorite part is actually the blog writing itself. If you want to know more, then go ahead and connect with me. But ultimately, today we're going to talk about the benefits of outsourcing. So if you could, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and like the video for more content. That lets me know that you're liking what you're seeing and that you get some value out of this. I don't want to waste your time, and this is going to be action-packed. All my content, I like to make it action-packed for you. Okay, now, what happens if you don't outsource your content or don't outsource any of your work and you continue doing all of your to-do list items by yourself? You end up getting stuck. You can't add new or more strategies, methods, until you make room for something. And you can't make room for something unless you let something go. Ideally, you're not changing strategies. You will just be adding to increase the flow of clients into your business, increase the options that you have for you. This outsourcing can apply to almost anything that doesn't absolutely require you, which is your thoughts, your brain, your wisdom, and your voice. I cannot outsource this video, for example, because you are talking with me. I am talking with you. So I would need to do this myself. We're having this conversation. It'd be similar with a podcast. It would still be my voice. I'm having a conversation with you where you can uh, listen to what it is that I have to say. The um, other examples might be your brand photos, taking photos of you, the visionary future casting of what you want to do in your business, the projections of where it is you want to take your growth. There are so many different options, and you want to make sure that you are steering where it is that you actually want to go instead of letting your um, your ship free fall for to wherever it happens to land. That would not be good, and it won't necessarily be the end result that you would like to have. Um, let's see. Oh, and also, without having all that um, control, you'd also be stuck with the overwhelm of like trying to take care of everything alone. You would be trying to get your tasks complete without actually having the time to complete them. So there is a max amount of time that you have. We all have the same 24 hours. You can't get that time back. You only have so many beats of your heart. At some point, that stops. Um, so if you want your business to grow, you need to get out of your own way. If you want some progress to be made, some changes to happen, then you'll need to take action so that there are changes. But there are benefits to outsourcing that will make the whole process worthwhile and will help you free up your schedule so that you can get to what it is that you want to do. Whether that's reinvesting right back into your business, which is the easiest way to measure your return on investment, or if you want to just spend more time with your children at the local, oh gosh, thanks to COVID, I guess we're not doing sports events anymore. That's my typical um, scenario for the family. But there's still playtime with your children. Maybe a date night with your significant other. These are the types of scenarios that will be able to happen once you actually have outsourced some of your work and freed up your schedule. Now, I've talked about outsourcing quite a bit already, but what is outsourcing? If you've never heard the phrase, it's going to be kind of confusing. Outsourcing is simply finding someone else to do the work that needs to be done. Delegating. It does not have to be paid, although if we're going to be talking about tasks for your business, it probably is going to be paid work. However, if you need to check your mail, someone who lives with you, even your children, could go check the mailbox and just grab all of it and bring it into the house. If you need that elf on the shelf to be moved, then you might have your significant other move it before the children wake up in the morning. There are multiple options for the non-paid things. Then the paid alternatives are clearly hiring someone in, either as an employee or as a contractor. It could be one-off, or it could be a retainer package that you end up signing on for. There's a lot of different options, and this is something that we more traditionally think of. Hire a maid to clean the house, hire a writer to create the content that's written, hire a web designer to make your website look good. Many different other examples like that, but that's essentially what outsourcing is finding someone else to take care of the work that you are not going to be doing yourself. So the question is if you should, and I've hinted at this earlier, is that some of the work that you cannot outsource is the stuff that requires you. If we need to see you, if we need to hear you, and if it requires your brain power, you cannot outsource that. Excuse me. Um, the primary measures for if a thing, anything, needs to be outsourced and whether it's a good idea to, it comes down to the cost of outsourcing, um, and the cost of not outsourcing, which is better. Let's do a cost benefit analysis on that. Or if there's a competency issue, and that could be anyone can do that. Therefore, why do I have to do that? I don't need to spend the time doing that. I can, at a lower cost, have anyone do it. Or in the case of having my children check the mail, it could be at no cost. I can have someone else doing that, free up my time so that I can do something else. They're spending time watching TV or playing games, and like they can do a chore or two, right? But if you have something that you are not competent in, and it's a skilled knowledge that you don't have the time or the capacity to learn it yourself, and you can be simply not interested in learning it, you would then want to make sure you outsource to someone who has the competency to complete the work correctly. It would be nice if you would be able to understand what is good work versus what is mediocre work. That way you can gauge the results of your hire and know what kind of person you need to outsource the work to. Let's see. And then when to outsource, you want to make sure that you are outsourcing the work before you are so overwhelmed and inundated with the tasks that you cannot complete it yourself. In the case of freeing up your time at zero cost, you want to go ahead and get the support of your family and friends around you to see if you can lighten your load so that you free up your time. Having the significant other go do the grocery shopping, the children checking the mail. These are great examples of that, where you go ahead and ask for the support, get it, and then you don't have any reason to delay doing that. But a lot of hesitation comes in when it comes to paying someone to complete work when you outsource to them. And you want to do that before you think you are ready to. And what I mean by that is actually with when you have your income coming in and your effective hourly rate, which you'll have to figure that out with your own numbers. But if you are working with a client and their package could be boiled down to they're paying you a nice round number of $100 an hour for you to work with them. You could then choose to hire someone to do a task that's not with a client at less than $100. Let's see, we'll do a VA at $20 an hour, and they're doing work on the stuff that in the back end. So it's nothing you have to do yourself. And then with that hour that they're doing that work, you get to focus, get the time back in to put towards your client. So what you do there is that you pay $20 to get $100. But if you didn't already have that client and the $100, you're paying $20 to potentially get $100. I don't know about you, but when I make investments, I want to make sure it's a good investment and do what I can to make the client show up, right? Uh, and that's lead generations, conversations, and all of that. So that's where you know that the investment towards outsourcing is going to free you up to make more money. And that is why you want to hire just before you're ready. Um, you also want to make sure you hire someone with, you outsource work to someone when you know exactly what it is you need to outsource. And in some more skilled tasks, you need to be able to know how to direct someone to do a good job that you want done. Um, if you prefer to go from Z to A, but someone comes in who's used to going from A to Z, you need to be able to have them tweak their system just enough so that it matches what you do. And that way, um, yes, it's the same. However, go backwards, please. That way it's Z from A. That's how we stand out and be different here. You know, it's one of those things that where you want your people to meet the standards that you set. Okay, so I have here a list of 10 benefits. I want to go ahead and go through them before we wrap up for the day. And benefit number one, probably my favorite, is you'll have more experts working with you. Having more experts will allow for the quality of production to increase. Imagine someone by themselves with no skills creating their website with no web design knowledge, no copywriting knowledge, not even any technology knowledge. How could they put it all together? And we'll give it a week to do all of the bells and whistles of a standard website. Not even going to add in a blog at this point. Just standard website with one page. It's just a single landing page with the basic information. Back in the day, where it'd probably be an equivalent of a business card, but more elaborated. Their time and efforts into creating that content will be significantly higher because they're having to learn the skills, then they're executing, and the quality of the production is not as great. However, if you have someone, a web designer, a copywriter, and I guess a web developer would be the other one that I'm thinking of, which could be two people because there are some designers who are also developers. They could work together to provide you that same website in less than a day for a much higher quality output. That way you have the website and you can get going on it much faster and it looks and works much better. Because who's to say that the first example did not have broken links or there were some visible codes showing up on the actual page on the front end. Or perhaps the copywriting was not done very well, so no one really knows what they're selling, what they're about, who they are even, and they're just kind of confused and just therefore they click away, right? So the more experts that work together on this, the higher the quality. In that story, if you'll notice, my benefit number two is that the output actually comes out faster. Things get done faster because people already know what they're doing. That is the thing that they are spending their time on. They enjoy doing that work, therefore they can do it faster. By doing that, also outsourcing, benefit number three is that leaves room for you to focus on what matters. So now that you can not worry about what the administrative assistant is doing, then you can focus on that client who is then paying you that $80 profit in our earlier example. If you are not working with clients, then you want to work on selling to the audience you have. If you don't have an audience, you want to work on increasing your lead generation, and therefore that is the marketing. Those are going to be the top things that you want to focus on what matters. But what matters to you might actually be spending time with your kids. What matters to you might be taking a vacation with your family somewhere. So what matters to you is still flexible enough for you to feel that the investment is totally worth it. Because not all return on investments are necessarily in the money that you make. Some cannot be measured in money. I would not put a dollar value on my happiness, but sometimes there is a price tag that's associated because some product or service that will ultimately lead to the happiness has a price on it. These are just some examples of how focusing on what matters is not necessarily your money. Oh, and number 4 on your benefits for outsourcing work is your shared risk. And this can be confusing if you are just starting out. If you have a very small business, you're not likely to have high risks anyhow, unless you are scamming people or doing any of these other things, which they exist. But I'm pretty good about the company I keep. So I don't believe that is you. So I'm going to touch on this briefly. Sharing risk when you outsource means that you are including any potential downfalls that could affect you, might also affect them, or what affects them could also affect you. While there is that increased risk, there's also the decreased risk of more than one person is actually working on the thing, because you're not going to blindly follow what it is that that person says. You will still use some sort of common sense barometer for whether or not the actions taken are risky or a good risk or a bad risk. Number 5 here is the reduce costs. So costs can come in as far as lost time, lost money, lost energy. Those are the 3 main ones for me. There are a few others that are in the smaller sections. But as far as those 3, your lost time is the greatest cost that something can have. And let's be honest, trying to spend hours learning how to do something to, in the end, decide that you can't do it and you just need someone else to help you, that was a cost of a lot of time that you just spent. However, if you decided to outsource something to someone right away, then there's that cost of the lost money, and whether or not that's a good investment or not depends on if you get a return on your investment, and if you feel that you had to learn this stuff and be involved in the process of doing the work anyway. Of course, different amounts of work may be required for different amounts of things. These are risks and costs that you'll have to judge on based on your own unique situation and what it is you're trying to outsource. Benefit number 6, you're able to work around the clock. Not you personally, no, but the people that you have working for you or with you could potentially be working around the world. And that is going to be especially beneficial if you have an international business that supports on the other side of the planet. You're not going to be awake the same time as they are. So it makes it harder for you to engage with them, to have that conversation with them. But if you have someone that is working for you, you can have uh, a customer service representative who helps those people in the other side of the world. That way, even if you're unavailable and they have an issue that happens overnight to you, it's daytime to them, you can still provide a timely response that isn't always at night. Number 7, you simplify project management when you use outsourced resources. And this brings in the assembly line idea. So instead of one person doing this, steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in succession over and over again, taking, let's go 6 hours to do the one product. Now on the assembly line, you've got 6 people, each one focusing on that one step. And each product actually ends up getting finished. Let's see, you got 4 products finished in 11 hours. Yes, it took longer. However, because each person was focused on their unique task, they were able to get that task done quicker, and in a routine that was able to be done efficiently, consistently, so that you have more products in the equivalence of less time. That would make it, what did I just say there? Just under 3 hours per product in that example. And I'm pulling these numbers from batching blog content creation. So batching would be simpler. However, in each batch step would be done by a different person. So someone does all the research, shares the research. Someone does all the writing, moves on. Someone else does all the editing, and then someone else does the actual publishing, posting, and management of the content. That would be a similar concept if it was different people. And by having it be done by different people, it increases the quality of that production because you have more experts, and it has the faster turnaround, because you and I both need breaks after we finish writing to go into editing, so that we're not seeing what our brain thinks should be there. We're seeing what's actually there. It's the same thing when you have someone finish writing, immediately someone else can get started working on the editing and seeing what's actually there. You see how these are all tying in together? It is actually quite fun to list this out because it was just trying to pull it out. There's actually a lot of benefits to outsourcing here. Number 8, you simplify your work relationships. So when you have things done correctly, you have a clear boundary of what needs to be done, when, in what order, who's waiting on what, and it's going to start becoming like a small business as you grow. Those relationships will then be clear, defined with boundaries, expectations, and roles that are fulfilled between the service provider, the suppliers, the managers, the technicians, the support. There's all sorts of different clear roles that can be simplified and let's see, hierarchy chart, and you are going to be at the top as the owner, founder, CEO, whichever role that it is you'd like to claim for that. Number 9, you have more targeted efforts. So when you have targeted efforts, you get to actually be clear on what the goals are to achieve with that content, why you are making the efforts to go through whatever the step is that you are outsourcing. And by being more targeted, you can then be more productive with the results and actually yielding results with the efforts that you actually put in, being clear on what it is that you are wanting the outcome to look like on the other end. And then number 10, when all of this is done correctly, you've got the right person who fills the role, does the work right, works as a team, and is open to your feedback, then you will have that peace of mind to be able to know that the work is done well, and that you don't have to micromanage anyone. Even if you decide to take a vacation for a month, the work will continue. Not pretty much nothing will break down. And even if there were emergencies, there's someone there already to take care of the fires, the metaphorical fires. So, if you are interested in learning more about outsourcing, specifically with planning, creating, and updating your blog content, then I would actually like to invite you to a consultation. It is the content breakthrough session. You can get to the application form on my website at stephaniegary.com/breakthrough, where you will be able to share your information, schedule the appointment, and if you get it scheduled before the end of this year, I will keep my soon-to-be archived one-on-one services open for you so that we can keep talking about them if they are the right fit for you. If not, I am currently talking with people, and it's application only right this minute, to help me build out, as a founding member, what exactly goes into my new membership offer. That's all I'm going to say here. But definitely go ahead and connect with me if you are interested. In fact, you can drop a founder in the comments and I will follow up with you. But otherwise, go ahead and sign up for a breakthrough session with me at my website. Again, that is stephaniegary.com/breakthrough. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. I will circle back to comments that may be left in the future. I don't currently see anything today here. So any questions, let me know, and I will see you next time.